Good evening, all. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now I share my screen. Please tell me if you can see the screen. Can you see the screen? Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Devmini Gunaratna, lecturer from Rohana National College of Education. Today I'm going number 2 topic. Education in the social context. Education in the social context. Under this topic, I would like to discuss introduction part, unit objectives, education as a social subsystem. Under the education as a social subsystem, I'm explaining classification of agencies of education. Under that, formal and informal agencies. Schools as agents of education. Home as an agency of education. Role of education as an instrument of social change. Non-formal agencies. What are the non-formal agencies? 2.3, human rights education. Under that topic, characteristic of human rights, sources of human rights, and child rights. 2.4, education and the community with special reference to Sri Lankan society. In your module, there is the Indian-based society, but it is essential to identify our Sri Lankan society. Under that point, societies responsible for education of the child, educational scenario in the Sri Lankan social context. 2.5 summary, key terms, answers to check your progress, questions and exercises. 2.9 further reading. But today I'm only focused only education as a social subsystem. Under that, I discuss with you what are the agencies of education and the schools as agents of education, home as an agency of education, role of education as an instrument of social change, non-formal agencies. Okay. Now we are moved to the what are the unit objectives of this education in the social context. Okay. After discussing this session, all over the session, you will be able to discuss education as a social subsystem, and you will be able to explain the functions performed by schools. Describe the role played by home as an agency of education, the role played by non-formal agencies in the field of education. Discuss the meaning and significance of human rights and duties. You will be able to evaluate the relationship between education and the society with special reference to the Sri Lankan society. In your module, there is the evaluate the relationship between education and the society with special reference to the Indian society. Okay, but you have to learn the relationship between education and the Sri Lankan society. Okay, now I'm moved to education as a social subsystem. Do you know what is education? What is education? Can you tell me? What is education? Can you give me answer for that? What is education?
It is an act of receiving the knowledge.
Yes, Ilma, that's correct. And how education help a person or individual? How education help a person or individual? What are the areas that should develop from education? What are the areas? As a teacher in a classroom, what are the areas that we should develop our students? Yes, tell me, Ilma.
The knowledge, skills, and the manners, such things.
Yes, there are three domains: cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotive domain. So those three domains should be developed within an individual or a student by the teacher. Now we are moved to this topic, education as a social subsystem. It has been generally recognized that education is concerned with the development of the whole man, his physical fitness, his mental alertness, his moral excellence, and his social adjustment. So, education makes a whole man. What are the areas? Physical fitness, his mental alertness, his moral excellence, and his social adjustment. To realize this objective of education, society has developed a number of specialized institutions like the school, the community, the family, the temple, the church, the library, newspapers, magazines, exhibitions, the radio, the cinema, and television. There are various things, various institutions. Those institutions are known as agencies of education. What do you call for those institutions? What do you call? What do you call the term for institution? School, community, family, temple. Those are the agencies of education. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to the classification of agencies of education. You have to discuss with me when I ask some questions, you have to answer. Okay. Agencies of education, we can divide it into two categories. They are formal agencies and informal agencies. Okay. Can you tell me examples for formal agencies? Can you tell me?
School, library.
What are the formal agencies of? Correct. Then what are the informal agencies? What are the informal agencies? Can you tell me what are the informal agencies? Family, correct. Okay, now let's discuss. Agencies of education may be classified under two heads: the formal agencies and informal agencies. The formal agencies are those institutions and organizations which are organized systematically. Okay, those organizations and institutions, for example, school. A school is organized systematically. Process of education in these institutions are well planned. There are prescribed curriculums and various teaching methods followed in these institutions. So students and teachers also follow a definite rule. In our Sri Lankan setting, school considered as a formal agency. All of you know NIE, National Institute of Education. NIE planned syllabus, teaching instructional manuals. So when in our Sri Lankan settings, syllabuses are similar in all government schools. Teaching instructional manuals are similar for all government schools, and all teachers follow the instruction, those teaching instruction manual. That's why I say school considered as a formal agency. Then teaching method also pre-planned. So teachers followed the rules and regulations which are given by the National Institute of Education. Students and teachers also follow the definite rule. Informal education. Informal education, some of you are saying, family. Yes, family, it's a good example for the informal agency. Informal education, on the other hand, it is not a pre-planned process. It occurs automatically in the process of living. For example, the child from his early age learns how to control use of his body and how to talk with his mother tongue and how to adopt mother, father, friends, neighbors, likewise. So informal education is a continuous process. When we take family is informal agency. So it's not a pre-planned thing. The environment of families are different in Sri Lanka. Okay. Informal education is a continuous process It begins from birth and continues throughout the life. An individual gathers new experiences in connection with family members, peer groups, as well as the neighbors. As a young child, he learns to talk and walk, makes friends and join in playgroups, either inside of home or outside the home. His circle of social interaction school or join the information groups, hobby clubs, or social groups, thus all the time from quite early years to maturity until his death. Different institutions operate on an individual and educate him. This classification of agencies of education, you can see your module book. I give some examples. Agencies, the school, library, cinema, radio, television, etc. Then the examples for informal agencies, family, community, religion, likewise. Again, there is another classification of agencies of education, that is active agencies, active and passive agencies. Could you explain what is the difference between active and passive agencies of education? Could you please explain the difference? Oh, I can give 5 minutes for individual activity. You have to tell me. Tell me what are the difference between active and passive agencies. Answer the question now. Any volunteer? Any volunteer are there? I want to differentiate between active and passive agencies of education. This is a 2-hour lecture, so I'm pleasure that you will be interact with me when I ask some questions and do some individual and group activities. But I think there are only 5 participants, so it's better to go through with individual activities. Okay? Yes, Siresha?
Yes, madam. In active agencies, there is a direct interaction between the educator and the educand.
Okay.
And passive agency, there is no such interaction between educator and the educand.
Very good, Iresha. It's a good explanation, the difference between active and passive agencies of education. Okay, I explain it further. Agencies of education may be further divided into two parts. They are active and passive agencies. Active agencies are those which try to control the social and it into a definite goal. In this agency, there is a direct interaction between educator and the educand. They influence each other in the process of learning. Okay, there is a direct interaction between educator as well as the educand. They influence for this learning process. The schools, community, the family, religions are known as the active agencies of education. Okay. Then what are the passive agencies? On the other hand, acting one way only, acting one way only. The active Okay, it's a signal issue. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Iresha, can you hear me?
Yeah, miss, we can hear.
Okay. Okay, let's move to the active and passive agencies. I can't share my screen. Uh, Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, miss.
Okay. There is some signal issue in my area. Okay. uh, Passive agencies. We discuss active. What are the basic characteristic of active agencies of education? I discuss with you there is a direct interaction between educator and the educand. There are two participants, special participants. One is educator and the second one is the educand. So there is a two-way interactions, but the passive agency, on the other hand, it acting on one way only. There is no such interaction between educator and the educand. These agencies influence educand, but are not influenced by him. Uh, so child remains a passive recipient only. What are those passive agencies? For example, radio, television, cinema, newspaper, and magazines can be identified for the example for passive agencies of education, because there is only one way interaction only. Then interaction between in brief, we can say that while in active agencies, interaction between the child and the agency is possible. In a passive agency, there is no such interactions. There is no such interactions. Now we move to this next slide. That is the schools as agents of education. Schools as agents of education. Okay. Can you tell me, is school considered as informal agent, informal agency, or formal agency?
Formal
According to
agency.
the formal agency. Okay, then the type passive or active agency
Active.
is passive or active agency.
Active.
Yes, because the reasons. Can you tell me the reasons? Why is the school is active agency? Why?
Yes, because there is a direct interaction between the education and education.
Yes, there is a two-way interactions. We can see the two-way interaction in school settings. Okay, the school as a agent of education. The school as an agency of education developed at the stage of social development when division of labor became pronounced and the need to create some special institution to educate people for several categories of social activities began to be felt. Okay, that is the slide. Iresha, can you read that slide for me? Iresha Sevandi,
Yes, madam.
school as agents of education. Please read it.
The school, as an agency of education, developed at the stage of social development when division of labor became pronounced and the need to create some special institution to educate people for several categories of social activities began to be felt.
Okay. Can you tell me the name of certain schools in ancient Sri Lanka? Ancient Sri Lanka? Can you tell me in ancient Sri Lanka, were there any schools? Were there any schools?
Yes, like Gurukula.
Correct. Yes. Gurukul, Guru Gedara, and some childrens, they went to temple to get the education from monks, Buddhist monks. Okay. So school is school considered as a very important agents of education because it's help to student to socialize in a certain settings, as well as school transfer the norms and the culture to students. So school considered as an important agent of education. According to Talcott Parsons in 1959, in his essay, "A School Class as a Social System," argues that the school as a social system performs four important functions. Okay, according to Talcott Parsons, he he performs 4 important functions. What are the 4 important functions? Can you read it, Hasna? What are the 4 functions?
Sure, madam. Emancipation of the child from the family, internalization of social values and norms at higher levels
Yes.
than as available in the family,
Okay.
differentiation of the school class in terms of actual achievement, the selection and allocation of human resources into the adult role system. By going through this process, the child acquires the values of industrial society like achievement, orientation, discipline, liberalism, and rationality. Origin of the term school, it is not known from where the term school originated.
Okay. Emancipation of the child from the family. What do you mean from this word sentence? Emancipation of the child from the family. What's the meaning of emancipation? Taranga? Emancipation? What's the meaning? Emancipation mean the free from control. The child who are in a family, there is a certain kind of control. Parents always protect their child. They told their children, do this, don't do this. Likewise, there is some certain kind of protection and the control. But the emancipation of the child from the family mean free from certain control. Okay, free from certain control of the child from the family. The second one is internalization of social values and norms at a higher level than available in the family. Okay, there are some certain social values and norms in a family, but those things should develop. It should done by teachers in school. That's why he says, internalization of social values and norms at a higher level than as available in the family. Third one is differentiation of the school class in terms of actual achievement. The fourth one is the selection and allocation of human resources into the adult role system. By going through this process, the child acquires the value of industrial society like achievement, orientation, discipline, liberalism, and rationalism. Origin of the term school, it is not known from where the term school originated. Now we move to the next slide. There is the origin. Can you tell me what's the Greek word? It's origin of the term school. And what is the Greek word? What is the Greek word?
School. School.
Skole. Okay. Let's read it. Taranga, please read the slide.
Origin of the term school. Origin of the term school, it is not known from where the term school originated. Probably it's originated from the Greek word skol, which means leisure. If we open the page of history, we will find that in the ancient civilization of India, Greece, China, and Egypt, martial prosperity increased to a great extent, as a result of which leisure became available at least to the people belonging to the upper classes in the society. To spend their leisure hour profitably, they developed a special institution to educate themselves. The institution came to known as school.
Okay, origin of the term school. Now I'm going to discuss the origin of the term school. It is not known from where the term school originated. We can't say where the term come from. We can't say where the term come from. Probably we predicted it originated from the Greek word skol, which mean leisure. Skol which mean leisure. If we open the history pages of history, we will find some various ancient civilization: India, Greece, China, Egypt. So they told the meaning of skol mean the leisure. For example, at India, Greece, China, Egypt. Material prosperity increased to a great extent, as a result of which leisure became available at least to the people belonging to the upper class in the society. Okay, upper class people who are in upper class society, they spend their leisure hours profitably. Okay, for that they develop special institution to educate themselves. Okay, the institution after that became to known as school. Okay, thus the school system developed out of surplus economy. Due to further development of material resources, the school became the most important agency of formal education in modern times. Now, all of you know there is a great place and important place for the schools, because it's give formal education to our students. It has become the predominant mode of transmitting culture everywhere in the world. In modern time, school has been used as an important agency of formal education. To preserve the strengthen the cultural heritage of a society, to control ideas, values, beliefs, custom, and etc. So now I would like to move the other slide, that is the functions of school, functions of schools. Okay, now I would like to give some individual activities. There are how many members? Wait. 4 members in our meeting. So I can give certain topics and give some time frame. You have to find facts for these topics and present it. Okay. First one, conservation and perpetuations of school life. Promotion of culture and civilization is second one. Third one is deployment of cultural pluralism. Fourth one is all-round development of the individual. Fifth one is responsibility of social reconstruction, development of the quality of leadership, and the promotion of social efficiency. There are 7 points. I can give it. Wait. Okay. Okay. Hasna, you can you have to explain and you can present your ideas for first one and the second one. Iresha Sevandi, you have to select third and fourth one. What's the name? Rausana. Am I
Yes,
right?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Rausana, you have to explain your ideas. Fifth and sixth one. Taranga Lienage, you can present your ideas. Promotion of social efficiency. Promotion of social efficiency. There are only 7 points. I give only one for you. Okay. You okay. You can take 15 minutes and prepare for your individual presentations. Okay, you can take 15 minutes, find some facts for those points and present individually. Okay. Can you present your ideas? Hasna? Iresha? Taranga? Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Yes.
Yes. Please present your ideas.
Yeah, I can. Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Sorry. Schools as active and formal agency of education perform different functions. So one of those was promotion of social efficiency. Sorry for my voice. The most important function of modern school is to provide social efficiency. So the social efficiency advocates, I mean the curriculum developers or and educators, believe that the initial purpose of schooling is to meet the needs of society. So curriculum developers and educators view the curriculum as an instrument that prepares students to the contributing members of society and support the view that schools are the place where students are prepared for the meaningful adult life. In other words, that direct teaching of knowledge, attitudes, and skills to shape the individual's behavior become a predetermined social characteristic. Like,
Okay, very good. Taranga, can you give me a self-introduction?
sorry, my,
Can you give me yes.
can you repeat the question, please, ma'am?
Can you give me a self-introductions?
Yes. I'm Taranga, sorry. I'm Taranga, and I am working as an early childhood educator in Dubai and for the last decade. And I have done my master's in human resource management. And yeah, relevant to education, I have done OTHM level 4 and 5 in UK. And I have diplomas in early childhood education and special needs education. And I hold the license for as a registered behavior therapist.
Okay. Hasna, can you present your ideas?
Yes, madam.
And I would like to know yourself and give me some self-introduction.
Yes, sure, madam. Functions of school. First one is conservation and perpetuation of social life. One of the most important functions of school is to maintain the continuity of social life by handling down traditions, experiences, values, and customs of the society from one generation to the other. The school provides minimum general culture to all the pupils, which is indispensable for a successful living in the present day complex society. The next one is promotion of culture and civilization. School trains children in a manner that they enrich and modify that heritage through their own effort and help in the establishment of a better and happier society. That's all, madam.
Okay. Rausana,
Yes, madam. Functions of a school. Responsibility of social reconstruction and development of the quality of leadership. First one, the instruction in the school develops spiritual feelings in the individual, and mostly the atmosphere of an average home may not be suitable for the development of spiritual feelings in the individual. But school cannot afford to ignore the spiritual development, and by creating a suitable atmosphere, it can develop the spiritual feelings. And the development of the quality leadership, the schools train the students to understand their role in society, and it is state the make proper use of their rights. And students get an opportunity to think critically in order to become a conscious citizen. And they get training in leadership, which helps them to become future leaders of the country. That's all, ma'am. Thank you.
Very good. Iresha Sewandi.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everybody. I am Iresha Sewandi. First, I'm gonna give some information on the topic of deployment of cultural pluralism. I will explain the concept first. Cultural pluralism is defined as the social condition in which minority groups within a society can maintain their distinctive cultural identities, values, and practices provided that they are consistent with the laws and values of the wider society. Then I'll give the main principles of cultural pluralism. Really, cultural pluralism results when the practices of that society's social, political, and legal institutions are oriented to respect differences and values diversity in such a way that social cohesion is enhanced rather than threatened. Then I'll explain importance of cultural pluralism. Cultural pluralism provides individuals with alternative ways to live, promotes critical reflection on the culture within which one currently lives, and thus promotes change and growth within culture generally. Then I will give some examples for that. United States, Canada, Germany, and Switzerland. Then there are some positive impacts of cultural pluralism. Gives equal opportunities to different religions to function in a particular state. Then second, I'm going to talk about all-round development of the individual. Comprehensive and balanced development in the domains of ethics, intellect, and psycho, social skills, and aesthetics. The teacher gives freedom to students to express their thinking and to question every aspect of learning. So there are 4 types of development: physical, social, emotional, and cognitive development. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your very good presentations, and I'm happy for that. Now we move to the points of our presentation. Okay, we discussed the functions of school. All of you are discussed the points of functions of school. Now I'm going to explain one by one. First one is conservation and perpetuation of school life. Second one is promotion of culture and civilization. Third one is deployment of cultural pluralism. Fourth one is all-round development of the individual. Fifth one is responsibility of social reconstruction. Sixth one is development of the quality of leadership. And the last one, promotion of social efficiency. Okay. Conservation and perpetuation of school life. The most important functions of the school is that it should conserve the existing school culture, which was won at a great cost of time and suffering. The continuity of social life can be maintained by the school by transmitting values, then traditions, norms, customs, and experience of the society from this generation to other generation. Thus, the school can teach the minimum general culture as well as the civilization. So that is a important functions of school. The second one is the promotion. It promotes the culture and civilization. Conservation and transmission of culture from one generation to another is not the only function of the school. Okay, conservation and transmission of culture from one generation to another generation is not the only function, only thing of the school. The school imparts advocate training for the enrichment, uh, culture and the modification of the culture. As results of which better and happier society can be established. Thus, the school transmits cultural heritage and recognizes and deconstruct the human experiences for the promotion of culture and civilization. The third one is the deployment of cultural pluralism. The school is an agency. It's a formal agency and the active agency. So school is an institutions where children belong into different religions, caste, and social hierarchy. In our Sri Lankan settings, there are various different kind of religions and the races and social hierarchy. Children, those are together and mix freely with each other and friendly atmosphere in their school. They also develop sympathy, cooperation, tolerance, respect for the view of others in a natural way. So the school acts as an important and active agency to develop cultural pluralism among the students. Deployment all around the development of the individual. That means the school is meant for all-round development of the personality. I told you there are mainly three domains can be seen. Three domains should be developed within children by the teacher. Cognitive domain, affective domain, and the psychomotive domain. Simply, we can say knowledge, attitude, and skills. So, the school is mean to all-round development of the personality of child, his physical, intellectual, moral, spiritual, aesthetic development. The school develops the qualities of the child with the help of curricula and the co-curricular activities like games, various kind of sports, Shramadana campaign, likewise. Responsibility of social construction also can be identified the one of functions of schools. The school meant for the all-round development of the all-round develop of the individual we discussed. The other point is responsibility of social reconstruction. Instruction in the school develop spiritual feeling in the individual. The atmosphere of an average home may not be suitable for develop spiritual feeling in the individual. So, but school cannot afford to ignore the spiritual development of the students by creating suitable atmosphere. It can develop spiritual feeling. Development of quality of leadership. Leadership skills can be given in school sitting. For example, subject leaders, class monitors, prefects, house captain, likewise. So, a school, there's it's an important function as a school, that is development of quality leadership skills within students. The school trains leaders of tomorrow. They train the students to understand their role in society and state and make proper use of their rights and duties. In course of their learning, the student get an opportunity to think critically in order to become conscious citizens of the democratic state. By accepting leadership in different co-curricular activities, they get trained in leadership, which helps them to become future leaders of our country. So, leadership skill develop with within children in active agency of school. Promotion of social efficiency. The most important function of the modern school is to provide social efficiency. The students should get the training democratic living, which emphasize on social efficiency. Thus, the school has become a significant and basic institution of the society. Therefore, the state should come forward to support the school in a big way. Now, I think now I would like to explain what are the functions of modern school. In the past, functions of school were confined reading, writing, arithmetic, and few other academic subjects only. But the modern age, all these have been put in a reverse gear. The importance of universal education has been accepted by all. The needs and the nature of modern production also make it obligatory for the state to make education free and compulsory for all. So, modern school has very important functions to develop students, children for a good citizen. Gateway to a lucrative jobs. Okay, wait. Okay, gateway to a lucrative jobs and the introduction of productive work. Lucrative jobs. What do you mean lucrative jobs? Can you tell me the meaning of lucrative jobs? Can you hear me?
It's producing money, gaining money. It's a develop.
Yes. Yeah, important jobs. It's those jobs earns lot of money and give the good status within people. That is the meaning of lucrative jobs. So, gateway to lucrative jobs. Modern schools are the place where formal training is provided in certain technical skills like reading, writing, and drawing. So certain prescribed subjects like history, then geography, political science, education, sociology. Those subjects also taught to provide the students with lucrative jobs and professions of prestige. So schools have become the instruments for killing the spirit of joy, initiative, and love of work in children in order to provide them with a white collar job in their unforced in their future. The schools now functions as an agency of formal education in order to provide lucrative jobs and professions of prestige to the students. That's the meaning of that. And the introduction of productive work. That's mean the modern technology society is dominated by machines. Productive work has been introduced as an integral part of schooling. So students are all allowed to find out the types of productive activities suit to their age groups and to the various level of their academic growth. Now I would like to move to the other slide, that is the functions of schools as a substitute to the family. So there are 6 points. First one is school should satisfy the child needs. The school should create sense of security in the child. The school should develop sense of cooperation. The school as a society in miniature. School as a center of community life. Last one is school can solve the social and cultural problems of the community. Okay. Okay, the school should satisfy the child needs. Opportunities should be provided in school to enable child to satisfy his need and interest. The school should be careful to see that the child does not interfere with activities of others while satisfying his needs and interest. This will be possible if the school can provide facilities for self-expression and free activity. Thus, the school can discover the needs and interests of the child and guide it properly for satisfying them. That's why say functions of the school as a substitute to the family. The school should satisfy the child's needs. The second point is the school should create a sense of security in the child. School should create the protection for students. Teachers should give love and protection, and that's the meaning for that. School should create a sense of security in the child. For the normal growth of the child, a sense of security is very much needed. Therefore, the school should provide opportunity for feeling of being loved and cherished, a feeling of belonging, a feeling of being at home in a situation, a feeling of courage and self-confidence. The students, they feel this school is very good and it's protective and child feel the self-confidence in a school environment. Likewise, if the school become home like, then child can develop a sense of security. Beside this, the system of pass and fail in the examination should be modified to develop sense of security in the child. The third one is the school should develop the sense of cooperation to get rid of the individualistic tendencies. The school should organize such programs which will enable to children to think and work cooperatively in order to achieve common objectives. For that, teachers can plan group works, pair works, and co-curricular activities likewise. The school as a society in miniature. To make society worth living, the school and the society should be close to each other. They should depend on each other for their growth and development. If we neglect this contact, education would remain ineffective and artificial and cannot be used as an instrument of social progress. So, school should be school as a society in a miniature. The school as a center of community life. Teachers should give certain experience that relevant to community life. A group of people living together bound by common interest and purpose may be called community. That is the community. A group of people living together bound by common interest and purpose can be identified and can be called as a community. But in actual practice, we do not have such a community. Generally, people living together in a community have conflicting interest in their process of living. So, school as a center of community life, there are several peer groups and friends, teachers, parents. It's a kind of powerful, small community in school. So I think that's very important to functions of school as a substitute to the family. Next one. Family. School can solve the social and cultural problems of community. The school can solve the social and cultural problems of community because school can identify the pluralism society. There are various kind of children who came from various religions, races, societies. So teachers can wisely engage those different students and solve some social and cultural problems of community. teachers can educate children how to live the various kind of races and religions, how to cooperate them, how to respect them likewise. Now I'm going to the new topic, that is the home as an agency of education. Home as an agency of education. These are the educational functions of home. Iresha Sevandi, please read out. Please read the educational functions of home.
Okay, ma'am. Educational functions of home, provisions for physical development, development of mental ability, emotional development, home as the socializing agency, home provides vocational education, home imparts religious instructions, transmission of culture, home provides a learning situation, cooperation between the home and school, training for citizenship. Family should enable children to develop healthy attitude towards sex.
Attitude towards sex. Okay. First one is the provision for physical development. Physical development. Okay. Provisions for physical development. The first function of the family is to develop child physically. Parents and the elderly members of the family care for the children's physical development. To achieve this end, useful physical exercise and the other playing things should be provided to the children. They should be provided with wholesome food containing all the ingredients of the balanced diet, because all of you know parents give balanced diet, and they protect their children, and uh, they they also engage their children for physical exercises and the playing activities. Development of mental ability. That is also the second important function of home, is the development of mental ability of the child. If home can provide a suitable atmosphere, children will be able to learn a lot informally. They can develop their mental powers like thinking, feeling, reasoning, judgment, memory, likewise. Parents also create suitable atmosphere for that. Emotional development. The real education of the child begins not intellectually but emotionally. So emotional development considered as very important. So good fellow feeling and amity among the member of family affect the emotional makeup of the children. Home as the socializing agency. The home is the first socializing agency in the child's life. It's a society in a miniature here. The child learns all socially desirable values like companionship, security, love, protection, tolerance, likewise. Home provides the vocational education. The first lesson for future vocational education begins from the home. Children who are engaged in family vocation become apprentice, and the future may be adopted same training as a profession. Home imparts religious instruction. Under the unbearable stresses and strains of modern society, religious education is the only source which can provide peace, happiness, and individual. So the religious instructions also given by the parents and the elder adults likewise. So as a result, child can develop qualities like charity, kindness, service to others, likewise. Transmissions, the culture. Transmissions, the culture mean family transmit the culture. For example, uh, the girl who are in a Muslim family, the family transferred, family taught their children about the way of wearing clothes, way of behaving with the society, way of how to uh, uh, way of speaking, walking, and way of taking foods likewise. Okay, so these their ways of training also differs a good deal. The home transmit individual culture and also culture of which society to the child. Home provides learning situation. The home is the first school of child where he experienced a learning situation. He spent his infancy and preschool stage almost entirely under the supervision of elders and parents in the family. So during this period, he is immature and high impressionable. So home provides learning situation. It's very important to child. And the other one is the cooperation between home and school. The home should be ready to cooperate with the school. Parents should participate in occasions such as Parents' Day, school exhibition, educational conferences, likewise. So beside this, the home should also be ready to share with the school the responsibility of developing personality of the child. Training for citizenship. In a democratic state, the home provides a lot of training for citizenship. Though their participation in the household activities, they develop good background for citizenship. The last one is family should enable children to develop healthy attitude towards sex. One of the most powerful drives for men and women is sex. So the index of well-adjusted life is proper sex adjustment. In the present day society, boys and girls tend to learn about sex through their friends. It often proves to be very harmful. Therefore, the family should take the responsibility to provide uh, good knowledge according to this sex education. That's why family should enable children to develop healthy attitude towards sex. Now we are moved to the peer group. Peer group also uh, considered as the agency of the education. What is peer group? Peer group means a group of people approximately the same age, status, and interest. The people who are in a group, uh, who they are in same age, status, and interest. And what are the mass media? What is the mass media? Mass media are the transport forms of mass communication, which can be defined as the dissemination of messages widely, rapidly, and continuously to large and diverse audiences in the attempt to influence them in some way. These are the examples for mass media, television, blog, newspaper, news, internet, satellite, television, likewise. Uh, peer group, children likes to play and move about in groups of their peers. This group life is very important for them and has a considerable influence on the development of their self-concept. Being in a group gives the confidence and sense of security. Particularly those who are popular learn to think positively of themselves. In play, learn to adjust their needs and desire to behavior of peers. In very real sense, the child begins to develop sense of self as distinct from the family. As the child develops a social self, she also learns to participate in the cultural norms, practices of childhood. He or she learns many things from slightly older members of the child peer group. There are some advantages as well as disadvantages of peer groups, but it considered as the important agency. So the mass media in modern society, the means of mass communication such as television, radio, cinema, newspapers, sorry, become integral parts of life. They play very important role in the socialization process of their viewers, readers, and listeners. These mass media, especially television and radio, convey the same message to nationwide audience. Therefore, its impact on the process of socialization assumes greater significance. The most important thing about mass media is the message that is conveyed or images that are projected. For example, in the context gender and socialization, one can examine the image of female portrayed by the mass media, or in the context of the rural population, one can examine the relevance of program for the villagers. Television has some effect on another agency of socialization, home, because it's generally viewed at home together with parents and siblings. It can propagate values in contradiction to the championed by particular family or community. So now important of functions of media. Important of functions of media. Uh, Educational functions of media. It's very important for the educational settings. Uh, though there are mm, though there are advantages and disadvantages of media, but students and many people they use those media. So these are the examples for the educational functions of media: computers and the internet, cable and satellite TV education, multimedia equipment, interaction, information exchange system, including email and online access to libraries and public database. So, role of education as an instrument of social change. So, there are mainly uh, four categories: social factors determining educational policy, and educational changes because of social forces, educational changes because of social needs, educational changes because of cultural changes. So you can refer further uh, with using your self-instructional manual. It's easy topic, role of education as an instrument of social change. Education is the important agent to change the society. That's the meaning of that, role of education as an instrument of social change. Then non-formal agencies. Uh, I quickly move to non-formal agencies. While defining any organized educational activity outside the formal education system, whether operating separately uh, or as an important feature of some broader activity that is intended to serve identifiable learning and learning objectives is termed non-formal education. While defining non-formal education, famous thinker Philip H. Coombs stated that non-formal education is an organized program of learning carried on outside the framework, the rule and logistic of the formal education system. Non-formal education is structured, systematic, non-school educational and training activities of relatively short duration in which sponsoring agencies seek concrete behavioral changes in fairly target population. What are the essential features of non-formal education? That is a support system. Support system, that means non-formal education is not an alternative to the formal education system. It is support system or support service to the formal education system to realize goal of universalization of elementary education. And the out of school children. Non-formal education caters to the needs of out-of-school children in the age group of 6 to 14 years. Children who have never been enrolled in a school, children who have dropped out of the school, and rural communities and urban slums are primarily beneficiaries of the non-formal education system. Flexible system. Children can be enrolled in the non-formal education center at any age, not necessarily at the age of 6. There is no fixed age of entry, no fixed timetable. In fact, nothing is rigidly followed in the non-formal education center. Class can be had in the morning, afternoon, or even in the evening, depending on the convenience of the local beneficiaries. Therefore, children who work in the fields or the engaged in household works can be enrolled in the non-formal education center. And the need-based curriculum is also the essential feature of the non-formal education. Problems and needs of the local community. provide the content of non-formal education curriculum. These problems and needs are related to several aspects of life, such as health, vocation, family life, citizenship, culture, society, and physical environment. The non-formal education does not prescribe any syllabi in language, arithmetic, environmental studies, as in the formal system. It follows the integrated approach to curricular transaction. Place of education. The classes for the non-formal education can be held in primary school, community centers, or at any place in local communities. Organization. Non-formal education can be organized by the government departments and non-government organizations. Less expensive, also essential feature of non-formal education. Less expensive. Compared to the formal education, non-formal education is less expensive in terms of material cost and teachers' salary. So I think all of you get the knowledge of this presentation today. Now, here's the question to check your progress. Okay, what are the active agencies of education? What are the active agencies of education? Any volunteer? Active agency. Taranga, Iresha, Sevanti. What are the active agencies?
School,
School, community,
university,
family, state, social clubs, religion.
Okay, very good. Now state the 4 important functions performed by the school. Important 4 functions. Tell me what are the state the 4 important functions.
conservation and perpetuation of social life,
Okay,
promotion of culture and civilization,
Promotion of social efficiency.
yes. Deployment of cultural pluralism. There are 7 points for that questions. Now the third question. What is the non-formal education? What is non-formal education? How to differentiate with the formal education? Tell me, what's the non-formal education? Rausana? Taranga?
The education occurs outside the formal institutions,
Yes.
family.
Yes. Okay. There's the differentiate between the formal and non-formal education. Formal education is very well organized and pre-planned, but the non-formal education cannot consider likewise. There's the definitions for non-formal education. according to Philip H. Coombs, stated that non-formal education is any organized program of learning carried on outside the framework, the rule and the logistic of the formal education system. What is the continuing education? What do you think continuing education? The concept of education, what is continuing education? Can you give me any answer for that? Education considered as a lifelong education because it's started from birth and end of our life. So the lifelong education is also defined as the continuing education. We have to always educate. Some of people think the education finish after the school, but it's incorrect. People have to educate throughout their life. Okay, you can search internet and find out the further details of continuing education. Okay, I think now time is over, and good night, everyone, and we will meet again.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
madam.
Good night.
Night. Thank you, madam.